Hello and welcome to yet another cast. For today I have a custom 5v5 played on the Rocks Mapgen. We have, let's call this Team 1 right here at the top, Team 2 down here in the bottom. Also lines up with the Supreme Scoreboard teams. So I'm just gonna stick with that. And let's start at the westernmost position for the northern team. We have Toaster on fire. I don't think toasters burn very well, but I could be proven wrong. Anyway, they are going UEF in dark blue, opening first land. To the east of that, in grey, going Cypern and opening first land as well, we have Dark Sentinel. To the northeast of that, in cyan, going Seraphim and opening first land, we have Capricious, I think is how you pronounce that. Then to the east of that, we have in purple going Cypern and opening first land, Winter. Very appropriate as it is currently winter. And to the northeast of that, in grey, or well, not really grey, in greyish green, a stark green, we have the melee going Cypern and opening first land as well. Sorry about that, I have a pretty sore throat right now, so I will occasionally have to mute to cough. But anyway, let's go for the southern team. Let's again start with their westernmost position. Of course I messed up my directions again. But yeah, we have Hyper in this military darkish green, going Cypern and opening first land, and second airbyte looks of it. Then to the east of that, in red, going Cypern and opening first air, we have Kenny Lee. Then to the west of that, in burgundy red, we have Agony going Seraphim and opening first land. Let's hope they do not die a very agonizing death, or something like that, I don't know. I know, my puns are always horrible and I'm not sorry for that. Anyway, to the east of that, in orange, we have Book of Guns, going UEF, opening first land. And the UEF definitely likes their guns, so very appropriate. And then to the east of that, in pink, in this bright pink, we have Wackathon, going Aeon and opening first land. Right, that's player introductions out of the way. Let's, so the map is, as already pointed out, Mapgen. It is not full size, I think that's 15k, not too sure. And it has this weird dotted pattern of small mountains. Yeah, around the middle. Looks really weird and trippy. There is some reclaim dotted around this, I don't know if you could call this a mountain range or something like that. Well, around this mid area. There's definitely there's some reclaim dotted around. Not only a bit, but actually quite a lot in these clumps. And yeah. Now, I hear Bomber, I have no idea where the Bomber is. Ah, it's up here. There's a Bomber out from Kennedy, currently harassing Toaster on fire. I think I'm just gonna call them Toaster. Though there is now an NT out to intercept that, but that Bomber already paid for itself with 2 ranks of veterancy and over 400 mass killed. Definitely worth its mass, especially this early. But let's take a look at the ratings. I think the highest rated player in this game is the melee at 1900, followed by Wakafa at 1700, and afterwards it's pretty tight with a lot of players between 15 and 1300, most players. The outlier on the lower rating end is Dark Sentinel at 900, with the lowest rated player on the southern team being Book of Guns at 1200. They're still very close to the rating of everyone else. a lot closer than Dark Sentinel. Now the game is balanced at 93%, that is basically as good as it gets in a custom game. Only the matchmaker is capable of bringing the ratings closer. And also not always. I have definitely seen matchmaker games at a lower game quality, so it always depends, of course, on who's in the matchmaking pool for that. But I should not talk about matchmakers, since this is not matchmaker. This is a custom game, as there is no 5v5 matchmaker. And though larger team matchmaker would be cool, I definitely understand why it's not a thing, because waiting for matches is already hassle on 4v4 at times. So I see why people would not be too interested in that. Or, well, people might be interested in that, but it's just not viable, really. But yeah, let's take a look at Reclaim. Team 1 currently ahead in Reclaim by around 2,000 mass Reclaim, that's quite a bit. I guess getting into these Reclaim fields a bit earlier and getting more of those. Or reclaiming those faster. But the Southern team is starting to catch up on that, so the amount of reclaim in total that is basically claimed, not really reclaimed, but just denied, isn't too big. And we see a small run by down here in the south by out from Winter into the backlines of Wakthar. There are also some units out from the melee supporting us. Some Mantas. Sorry about that. Again, really sore throat right now. For some reason, not too sure why. There's a small push with a few farms currently out in the middle right here from Cap Rushers against a few units out from Book of Guns. But I don't think this will be going anywhere, and we'll probably just keep its position for the moment. Maybe get a counter push from Book of Guns, and that's what seems to be actually happening right now. But honestly, not too much. Another small push that's just towards the west, where there are some farms, however, that are countering that, and the issue of Agony is also closing in. And maybe an attempt to deal with that, but these Mantas died so fast that it wasn't actually relevant. Now we are at 8 minutes, so maybe let's take a look at some tech that is advancing. We already see some T2 on the field. There is T2 land out from Agony. That may provide some Agony for the Northern team. And T2 Air is out from Hyper. Now for the Northern team, there is T2 Air out for the melee. And Cap Rushers. And Winter, so I think most players, yeah. Dark Sentinel also is at Tier 2. And, okay, currently only T1 out for Toast on Fire. Though there is a sizable run by up here in the backline, killing off 5 maxes at this point. And maybe even some more. We will have to see about that. Yeah, I think it will be another max going down right here. Yeah. So 6 maxes in total right now. And Semi here. Yeah, no, the detective thing was actually accurate, I think. Now Gunnerpred going up for Agony. and for Dark Sentinel as well. T2 going up for Capricious, and Stealth going up for Windtone, and the melee. Both players going for Stealth at the same time. There's also T2 going out for Toaster on Fire and for Kenny Lee. Agony has finished the gun upgrade and is now pushing against Dark Sentinel, forcing a cancel on that upgrade. Didn't really check on what percentage that upgrade was, but it was probably quite far ahead, and that I suspect it was quite painful. But Toast on Fire finishes T2, goes for gun. So trying to use that commander as the aggressive frontline firebasing commander. That can also deal quite with damage. Stealth done for the melee, they are now going for Nano. The nice feature that Cypern gets due to Fav, that has been added quite a while back now. The Nano upgrade for Cypern, providing a large amount of regen and also a very large HP pool, as Cypern does, making the Cypern commander making aggressive Cypern play very, very viable. Now some T1 bomber harassment coming out from Mechathon, as well as a land push, though they are pushing in directly with the Auroras. Something that I cannot recommend, as Auroras are do not have a large HP pool and are very much reliant on their higher range. So ideally you would see those just staying at their maximum range and firing into the Cypern units. But they are just pushing the Commander of Winter right now. That does not have the Nano upgrade and does own no increased survivability. Though it is equipped with gun and thus will be able to deal quite easily with this large army of Auroras. But quite easily may be the wrong term, word, but as it will still take quite a bit of damage, but it will still be able to deal with that. Now a mix of Hoplites and Rhinos also pushing in, dealing more damage into the Auroras. Rhinos having a pretty high HP pool and thus being pretty capable of just getting close to the Auroras to take them out. The melee also moving their commander into support, though being too late with that and not being so that's not too important. But yeah, without redundancy, the Nano commander for the melee is now at, sitting at 13,500 HP and 78 regen. Quite a sizable amount. Sorry about that again. Nano now also going out for Dark Sentinel. They have finished gun and have already gotten stealth. In the meantime, a very large push coming out from Book of Guns into this firebase of Capricious. They are now using their T2 upgrade to just quickly build up some T1 PD. A very good call, as T1 PD has a higher DPS than T2 PD. And I think it also has a bigger turning speed on the turrets, allowing it to retarget faster. And with if your opponent is just pushing into your base or fire base, there's no point in going for T2 PD, as the increased range won't be useful. And the thing you just need is DPS in that case. Nano are also going up for Winter. So all the Cypern players on the Northern team going for the aggressive Cypern commanders. Toaster on Fire being very aggressive, now having Corsairs on them and pushing into a position with Cerberus turrets. Being down below half health, and the Corsairs get the second pass off. And Toaster on Fire, but below 1k HP. If those get another pass off, they are dead. And some get another pass off, and there goes the commander of Toaster on Fire. With that, the first player for the Northern team dies. The first ejection at 13 minutes. with one of the mid-rated players going down. This is played with full shares, so the base is gifted over to not to Dark Sentinel, to the melee. Colors are hard, okay? Give me a break. They will probably be able to use that extra income quite effectively at a S1900. However, there is now also a tactical missile launcher out from Kennedy that is firing into that position, into that base. However, there are already buskets built up to help defend against that. So it has been scouted and it is already being countered properly. There are no finishes for Winter, and right here we have Dark Sentinel pushing in with a primarily T1 force and the Gun ACU, or the Rambo ACU. As already pointed out, very powerful with that high regen and HP pool, though I think the HP pool has been nerfed. I recall that being higher. Though it was very powerful, so I'm not too surprised. I mean, honestly, it's probably still very powerful. Though, yeah, the HP no longer being as obscenely high, I can definitely see why they did that. Especially since it's also more on theme for Cybran to be more focused on regen than on actual HP, as it is something that you see with most Cybran units, that their HP pool is pretty low compared to other units, but they have some pretty good regen to counter that. Now, Book of Guns has gone tier 3, they did not actually use their commander aggressively, keeping that in the back of the base. Just like Wagathar actually. On note of Wagathar, they are pushing in with more units, now using Obsidians. The one unit of the Aeon that is actually played like most other main battle tanks for the other factions, having a lower range and higher HP pool. They are just intended to be pushed in, unlike the Aurora, as already pointed out, which excels at its higher range. But Obsidians are very, very deadly. And very dangerous. Especially with that shield as well, they get they get in total 2.75k HP, which I think, it is higher than a pillar, and it's also a bit higher than the Ilshava. And I'm also pretty sure it's higher than the Cybran one, than the Rhino. Though I currently can't see Rhino to check that, so just trust me on that. Right, here's one. With 2 ranks of veterancy, it has low HP, yes. And we also now have Harbingers out from Wagathar. The T3 assault bot for the Aeon, with a shield that doesn't have quite as much HP as the one of the Obsidian, but instead a very much higher regen and a significantly higher base HP pool. The Harbinger is actually a pretty powerful unit, though there are some Othams out from Capricious that may cause some issues, as there currently is only T2 out for Book of Guns, and Pillars don't trade very well against Othams. While I'm pretty sure that they are more effective mass for mass if they are 1v1 or 1-on-1, the Otham will win. Unsurprisingly, it is a higher tier unit. Now, what I did miss is that there was actually a brick drop right here on the back of the melee's well, second base of the base that once belonged to Stonefire. And that has taken out a lot of Maxes. And by the looks of it, will take out quite a few more. So that's definitely painful. But yeah, let's count. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 Maxes if I counted correctly, which I may have not. May be wrong on that, but if I was correct on that, I think those were all T2. That's a massive loss on the economy. And that's just enormous if those were all T2. Because I think that adds to over 100 mass income. And yeah, you really don't want to lose that much mass. On that note, let's take a look at economies. Team 2 currently ahead by around, by over 200 mass. And them losing these maxes right here in the back probably did not help. Nano, no, going up for Agony. I guess they don't want to die. Fair enough. And they also have T3 land now. And so, of course, does Kenny Lee, as they have dropped some bricks, so they must have T3 land. There is now just a push of some T1. I think there was also some T2 in there, but that has just been taken out by the bricks, so no longer too important. Let's see how it's looking on this side. We have an army of bricks facing off against an army of obsidians with a small force of harbingers. Bricks will win against harbingers. In general, at least in a one-on-one. As bricks are a more heavily armored unit and have a significantly higher HP pool. But with the large supporting force of T2 and even some T1 fervors, I think that... well, never mind, the bricks are actually still winning this. I think if those were Percival's, it would be looking very different, as Percival's have a very high alpha focus on their DPS, which makes them worse at dealing with T1, as they just overkill T1 units completely and can't really use that. But with the brick being a high fire rate unit, that's not really a problem for it. I think that high fire rate is generally just better than high alpha if you have the same DPS, as you are less likely to just waste your damage. Making the brick better in dealing with lower tier units, though technically the Percival does have higher DPS, and against units like bricks, the Percival will actually win. Now, up here we have a small push out from Agony with a small amount of T3 and mostly T2, mostly just some Ishwas, pushing into a whole bunch of bricks out from Winter. No, not from Winter, from Dark Sentinel. So I think that will just be quite easily mopped up. Yep. There goes that. Let's see, is there T3 land out? Okay, yeah, there is T3 land out for Book of Guns. And they are also producing T3 land with Percival's. Very nice, very nice. And there is now a push continuing by Winter against Wakatha with these bricks. Also, something that I can never unsee is that the brick does not have a proper gun. Like, yeah, it has something that fires, but it doesn't really have a part on it where the bullet comes out of. And no real mantle or something like that. I think it's the red dot at the top, but not too sure. But that push is taking out quite a few maxes out from Wakfa. pushing into their main production yards and dealing quite a bit of damage right there. Let's see how this side is going. There is T3 land out, not T3 land, T3 air out for Hyper. And there were some gunships out for the melee, so yes, they do have T3 land as well. Not T3 land, T3 air. Not sure how I'm mixing up land and air, but it happens, I guess. They do, however, also have T3 land, so I wasn't completely off. But, yeah, there is... Okay, never mind, here's the accurate for Hyper, so the size of the accurate isn't... while I think the accurate for the melee is a bit bigger, the difference isn't too major. Push up here is still going on. There are now some snapbots out from Rockefeller that are just bringing in damage over very long range, as snapbots tend to do, dealing large amounts of damage with a very low rate of fire over very long ranges. And the game is turning a bit more static now, with this one push going on, and that's it. But those have been intercepted by a few bricks, and most of the sniper bots have died to that, so there's that. However, there is now a force of explosives out from Book of Guns to counter these bricks. So I guess we do get that. But these bricks now getting into the backline of Rockefeller's base, and killing off these maxes that have been cleared off multiple times here on the northern side by drops of Kenny Lee. And that Harbinger also goes down, yes. Yeah. The units that Rockefeller tried to send in order to defend have been taken out, unfortunately. And let's take a look at what's going on here. There is a small run-by of Titans out from the melee into the backlines of Hyper, but there are some renegades that are dealing with that. I think those Titans will just be taken out. Hyper currently just going for a gun upgrade. I suspect they may be going for Telesnipe, as it is something that they frequently go for, something I know since I have casted them quite a few times. And Rockefeller is still losing a lot of maxes right here in the back line to this push. This is really painful. Now, what's going on? Is anything going on? Right, I just noticed, or I just zoomed in right at the correct time. Cap rushers just finished their check-in. I think this may be the first experimental of the game. Yeah, I don't think there's another experimental currently finished. Is there another one in the under construction right now? Yes, there is a chicken being built up by Agony, but that's currently still at just around 6% finished. I don't see a... never mind, a GC just finished Rockefeller. So there is another experimental out from the southern team. And a Fat Boy is going up for the melee. Yeah, I think that's it for experimentals right now on the northern team. Yeah. Agony finished their chicken, yes. Here it is, the beauty. And let's see where this will get used. I expect there will be a push going on against Dark Sentinel with that now. It would make a lot of sense as they have that, as they now have that experimental. Though maybe it's also used to counter the chicken of Capricious. Not sure where that one has gone now. Right, here it is. Yeah. CGC. Here it is. There's a small push now coming out from the melee with some bricks. Just going out for a frontal assault on the position of Rockefeller. And taking out a few maxes. So yeah, this entire situation not looking too great for Rockefeller, and I hear chicken fighting. Right up here. Just firing its rapid fire weapon and slower firing AoE weapons. So that's where that slow plasma ball comes from. I never thought where that actually comes from, but I guess this the head makes a bit makes somewhat sense for that. I guess I learned something today. And the chicken just keeps pushing. And since there is currently no counter-experimental in this position, I suspect it will also be capable of just keep that going, especially since there's also a supporting army that would be capable of dealing with the defending possibles very effectively. So yeah, there's that. Chicken right here, currently still AFK, not pushing, and okay. Now starting to move into the front line of Dark Sentinel. Chicken currently with one level of veterancy, about to get its second. And just got its second. Taking a lot of damage from the possibles, but the possibles are now going down, so that will just keep pushing through that. In the meantime, I think it's more interesting to look at this battle now. A lot of loyalists actually in this army. Yeah, this army is actually mostly loyalists, not bricks. Surprisingly. The loyalists with its EMP stunning multiple units after dying. The death explosion of loyalist also having a EMP effect. But I think that the push out from Agony will actually die to this. A very agonizing death, if you will. And Kennedy has finished an experimental, a Megalith. Now the chicken down here keeps pushing and is continuing to take out the production capabilities of Book of Guns. Though the GC from Rockefeller is now coming into support. But that chicken does have 3 stars of veterancy with 50k massacre. It has definitely paid for itself. Also just in the damage to the production done. That will probably pay off in the long term. Though I expect that the chicken will just go down to the GC now. Though the shield is almost back up. But it's not allowed to get back up as it just gets sucked up by the Dragon Class of the GC. Now Rockefeller on their own front actually taking that mostly back. I guess with support of that GC. The chicken goes down and the GC gets out of is moving away out of the lightning storm. The chicken died right next to it, so it will still take quite a bit of damage from that. But managed to get out of range, though it took, as I already pointed out, a lot of damage in the process. Now there is a Megalith out from Dark Sentinel as well that just took down a chicken. Was that the first or was that the second chicken? I think that was still the first one. The Megalith actually taking quite a bit of damage. I think that was also partially from the chicken. But bricks now being used to just mop up the remaining offense right here. With the Leothotha, the second Leothotha that got announced for Agony having been finished at back there. Something died up here, and there was a nuke launch under construction. I did not pay attention to that, what that was, but I suspect that it may have been Hyper. Yeah, the commander definitely held in here, as we can see by that burning area around the commander. And it has gotten a 4K mascot, so I think that that is the reason that this nuke launcher that was built up here did go down. No tele defense is now being put up in that area. Okay, game is slowing down a bit again. Players are going a bit more passively. The melee just finished an experimental. What was that? I think up here I suspect it may have been a fat boy. Yes, it was. But yeah, not really much going on. There are 2 chickens now out for Agony. And of course the Megalith for Canny. But the game in general turning a bit more static. There is a small run by right here of the melee. With a few bricks. But this time there is a very sizable army of Harpies just trying to pursue that, currently already pursuing that. Probably just taking that out very soon. So I don't think that will be doing too much damage. Advanced Nano going up for Capricious. I guess they just really don't want to get sniped. Advanced Nano providing some incredible amounts of HP and regen. And the chicken out from Agony facing off against this Megalith with two chickens out from Agony and the GC out from Megalith coming into support, and with that the chicken from Capricious goes down. Though there are now also some whalers pouring in some damage. And the chicken flag will not do enough for that. So the Megalith out from Kenny does actually die. And moment please. Right, I'm back. Sorry, it was something important. Anyway. Where was I? Right, the push. A airfight is going on over the on the top right now. I don't think I pointed that out earlier. Between the melee and Hyper. It seems to have gone in favor of Hyper. Though, well, maybe not. Maybe I misjudged. Honestly not too sure, and never mind, the melee actually won that. With the pushing units out from the southern team actually dying in that. No, there is now a major push in of Orphans out from Agony. That one will most likely break through now, as a lot of the defending units have died in the experimental push that came earlier from Agony here, Rakatha and Kenny. The GC for Wakatha actually still alive, surprisingly. Not have expected that. Wakatha currently going shit on the commander, I guess also just wanting, wishing to get that additional HP pool. And the Monkey Lord that was up here that I did not point out, very sorry about that. just went down and but was actually able to take out quite a few of these offense, so I guess with that Dark Sentinel will actually be able to defend against these offense. And already bricks in the area to reclaim. Well, I spoke too soon. As soon as the last of them dies, there's already a chicken here to take their place. Just keeping that push going. Just keeping this as a constant. Just keeping the pressure onto Dark Sentinel. In the meantime, right here on the on the west, more to the west, we have a Maglev currently facing off against a Fatboy. The Maglev out from Kani and the Fatboy out from the melee. I think the Fatboy was actually building on the move, and well, that's a texture bug. And that I now got on video. I don't think that was supposed to look like that. But knowing myself, I will probably forget to report that, so, well, whatever. But yeah, the Fatboy does go down to the firepower of the Maglev. Not too surprising, as the Fatboy is not very tanky. Something that I already pointed out multiple times in the previous casts. The Fatboy mostly excels at kiting and is very bad when it comes to a fight where the opponent can actually shoot back, as it has a very, very low HP pool, though amazing range and DPS. And thus, you always want to try and run away. Right, Dark Sentinel just got sniped by Hypo. It is used to sitting there, so and there are some strats flying overhead, so I guess I just missed a strat snipe. Wouldn't be a cast if I didn't miss half the game, I guess. Especially when talking about shit that isn't even happening right now. Or even too relevant right now. Though, to be fair, pointing out the weakness of the Fatboy is probably always good when it's when the Fatboy has just died or Fatboy is currently in use. But a whole bunch of reclaimed energies right here out from Capricious, just going down to Percyfire. These poor engineers just getting having the most dangerous job in the world, getting mass right at the front line, reclaiming these experimentals. And there's a lot of reclaim to be gotten. And guess what? We have now chicken. We have now chicken pushing in right here. In the meantime, another Fatboy has finished up here in the well, not really up here north. Well, it is up in north, but I was more trying to go up here in the on the side here in the west for the melee. And that is defending against the Maglev and the supporting army, as well as the with some whalers also helping out to kill the Maglev. Though the Maglev, of course, being the tankiest unit in the base game, and just taking it like a charm without flinching, and yeah, going down very, very slowly, but well, it will still go down, I think. Yeah. Yeah, it will just go down to Fatboy Fire now. Though it has definitely gotten its value worth with that amount of mascot. It had 3 levels of veterancy, so it definitely paid for itself pretty well. Now the chicken right here is pushing into the base that once belonged to Dark Sentinel and now is actually in control of the melee, as again full share gives over to the highest ranked player. And this game is full share. The chicken dies right in this central position and will most likely take out multiple T3 factories. very unfortunate, and either Dark Sentinel, not Dark Sentinel, the melee is using some weird naming mod, or the name for the T3 factories is broken. The HQ snap normally, and so are these. And so are these. Is that... Seems to be a bug with the T3 support factories for Cybran. That those are just called T3. Well, noticing 2 bugs in one cast is definitely a new achievement for me. Definitely didn't have that happen before. But yeah, maybe I should make a bug report or something like that. Try to remember that. I guess as proof I can just provide the timestamps and the cast. Something like that. Right, the chicken right here now chicken is now pushing into the main base. Oh, no, not the main base, never mind. Into this, well, production base of the melee. Facing some opposition from some units, but not nearly enough to actually stop an experimental. And with that, that chicken will basically just keep walking, keep doing damage, and keep being a nuisance. Not actually taking out this factory. That's disappointing. But just continuing to walk in, taking out pigeons, taking out maxers, being generally very annoying to deal with, I guess. On the other side, right here, we have another Megalith pushing in. Currently, by the looks of it, not firing on anything. Guess it's turned in a way that it's not really capable of firing at anything. Oh, never mind, the guns are turning again. I think the targeting on the Megalith right here is just a bit bugged right now. Unfortunately. Now another Megalith has finished up here for the melee. That will maybe allow for some more defenses, but there's also another Megalith now pushing up for Kenny Lee, or Kenny. And let's look on the other side again. There is actually a nuke put up by Hyper. Interestingly. I do not see any SMD in this base, though there is a nuke launcher. And it is loaded. On the other hand, I don't think that SMD that will be too important, as there is a chicken gun marching into the space. And there are apparently also 2 Novexes. Though there is a Yolana Os being currently under construction at 66% finished. That will definitely be a bit of a problem, but are they power stalling right now? No, the shields just went down to no X-Fire, I guess. But Capricious deciding to fire off the nuke, since the Lightning Storm will be about to take that out. And it is going for the main base of Wakifar, who does not have SMD. I am pretty sure that has been scouted, so there's no excuse for that. A third Novex out from Book of Guns has now arrived and is firing into the pigeons of Capricious now. I guess the goal is to just make them power stall and prevent that, and just have the sheets go down. A very, very normal move to go for when dealing with a heavily shielded position. And we now see Rambo Zaku's utilized by Agony in a push. I already pointed this out in one of the previous casts where the combatant Zakus with their higher range due to the census upgrade were used. And that the theoretical amount of tankiness that you can get on these Seraphim Cycles is just insane, since you can get both Nano and Shield, giving them 29k HP from the Nano, plus another 20k from the Shield, and also over 200 regen on the just from Nano, which again is just ludicrous. And with the and if the shield is actually allowed to get back up, that will probably just allow that to completely regen the hull, but the DPS from this magnet being sufficient to prevent that. Now, a very large amount of course airs were just used by Rakatha, not by Rakatha, by Hyper, sorry about that, to snipe the SMD from the melee, and try protecting that ACU, and there are now also just... There were so many that they got some second passes off. They were going for the ACU now, but they were just mopped up by the SF. The nuke is flying in, but there is an SMD which is not loaded out from Winter, and the nuke is going for the aggregate, which will, now that the SMD just died, go down. Yep. The 4max is going down as well. Definitely a very painful thing to lose. Capricious is calling out the GG, considering this game to be over, and I can definitely see why. Isaac is just tanking some T2PD fire. Again, the HP pool that the Psychos can get is just ludicrous. And the Smaglov just out of range of Lightning Storm, barely surviving with just above 8k HP, though it has got 4 ranks of veterancy with 77k mass code, so definitely paid for itself very well, and does have has 100 regen, so it's not that bad. However, this entire situation is looking really bad. We're looking at 3 Megaliths pushing against a bunch of T1 RT. My money's in the Megaliths, to be honest. I don't think there's much you can do against 3 Megaliths. Again, Megaliths are super tanky, so those will just keep walking until everything in their way is dead. And there is, however, a push with Megalith currently going on in the east, out from Winter against Rakatha. Also, never mind with 3 Megaliths to actually pushed into the base of Rakatha already, or into the production base. And there is one GC trying to defend, and there are a whole bunch of control Ks out. Fair enough at this point. But yeah, these Megaliths just took out the GC, currently still alive, taking out the PD that is technically defending the area. And just being a general nuisance, I guess. Yeah. Now a very large amount of Revenant Strat Bombers coming out from Hyper. And let's see, who are those targeted on? Those appear to be targeted on... I think that is the ACU of Winter. Everyone else but Winter has actually controlled Kate. There goes a snipe. Hyper was just in the process of tallying in. And there's an ACU. But the game is won. The ACU would not die, and there was actually also a nuke already flying in that direction. Right, I hope you enjoyed this cast. This was streamed live on Twitch. Link to that will be, as per always, in the description. If you enjoyed this, leave a like, or don't if you don't want to. And I'll be putting out more casts like this, so if you want to see more, subscribe. That way you can get notified, and you'll have an easier time finding this channel again. But yeah, hope you enjoyed, hope to see you again in future cast or stream, and till then, bye!